about 8 years ago. I started working with this kid, 16-year-old boy, and he's the kind of kid that you like right away. Great big, cool kid. The kind of kid who like shakes your hand, looks you in the eye on first meeting. Hey, Dr. Duffy, how are you? What's going on? And he comes in and he sits down and he's this really smart, interested kid. He's asking a really interesting question. What do you think about my family? How do you think we work? Do you think we work well? Why do you do this job? Isn't this depressing, listening to people's problems all day? Well, I mean, this seems ridiculous. And he's interested in pop culture, and he's interested in music, and he's got just these few problems with, you know, things like grades and stuff like that, but we're tinkering with this guy. Nothing major is going on, which is awesome. It's the kind of client I love because I'm thinking, I am this close to putting him in the win column, we're almost done, I'm out of business. That's the best thing about having a therapy client that's smooth, right? And I meet his mom, and I'm thinking, okay, things could potentially go wrong here with the relationship with mom, but that goes just fine. So I'm thinking, okay, there's one little hurdle left, right? I'm bringing Dad in. Okay, so Dad comes in for, you know, we have some trouble scheduling the session with Dad. But eventually, you know, and he works downtown, and it's tough to put things together. But Dad comes in, and that session is cooking for a while. I usually ask, you know, parents, you know, tell me all the great stuff about your kid. So Dad says, well, he's a really intelligent young man, and I'm really proud of him, and he's athletic, and that's perfectly fine, well and good, and the kid's kind of like nodding, but seems tentative. And then Dad says, now, Josh, not his real name, Josh, did your mother talk to you about math? I think your teacher might have called. And then Josh, oh my God, F you, man. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me you're going to make it all about this? I knew you were going to come in here and ambush me in front of Duffy. Unbelievable. He explodes. And I'm thinking my win is slipping away. Damn it, Josh. And it goes on like this. And Dad says, and by the way, when you brought the car home the other night, it was all messed up and you were a few minutes late too. Oh, you were a few minutes late too. Unbelievable. You are such a jag. F you, man. I can't believe this. And suddenly, the F-bombs are raining out of the sky. They're real F-bombs, not what I'm saying. But it's like, it's out of control. And I'm relatively new at this point, right? I don't know exactly what I'm doing, so I'm thinking, okay, what do they teach me in therapy school? Think fast. You gotta fix this. Divide, divide, divide and conquer. Dad, would you mind excusing us for just a second? Step out of the room? Graciously, Dad accepts. Thank God, right? So I have Josh alone. I gather my composure and I say, hey man, what's your friggin' problem? Everything was fine here. And he says, dude, I know what this looks like. I know it looks like I'm the big jag here, but the truth of the matter is, he blew me off so long before I ever blew him off. I'm thinking, he blew me off so long before I ever blew him off. Say more about that, Josh. We therapists like to say more about that. Buys us time. So Josh starts to say more about that. He said, all right, until I got to high school, everything's cool. And then I get in, and I get all A's and B's my first semester. I am rocking, man. But I get a C in modern Euro. That's a hard class. You can ask anybody, and that's all he wants to focus on is that C. And it's like he hates me. It's all he wants to talk about is everything I do wrong. And that car, I love that car. I take care of that car all the time. But he picked the one night when I blew it with the car, and that's all he wants to talk about. It's like he effing hates me. I can't believe it. I don't know what had happened, but I'm like, screw it. I'm out, you know? And eventually, that's really, really how he felt. Like, you know, I have no interest in this. And so I excuse Josh, and I bring Dad in. I'm like, Dad, what's the deal? This seemed to be going okay, and it really fell apart. And Dad's like, Dr. Duffy, I honestly don't know what happened here. I used to feel like I knew what I was doing as a parent, and now I feel like I've completely lost that. And so I feel completely incompetent, and I feel like he is lost. He's just drifting out there, and I can't get to him. He won't listen to a word I say. And we used to love each other. We used to have a great time. We used to go to games together. We used to play games together. And suddenly he's a million miles away. And Dad's in despair. He feels like he's lost his son. And his son feels like he's lost his dad. And I gotta tell you guys, I, over the years, have seen this pattern in one way or another, to one degree or another, over and over and over again in families, where there is this enormous rift between parent and child in adolescence. And so I've thought a lot about Josh's words 8 years ago, and they've stuck with me all this time. He blew me off first. And I thought, well, wait a minute, is that possible? Is that really true? And when I think about it, and when I watch families in really subtle ways, it appears to us that our children become less available to us as they branch into adolescence. We feel that a lot of the time, like, ooh, they're slipping away somehow, right? But the truth of the matter is, when I really analyze it, we parents often strike first. Not with malice, not with intention. It's oily, it's slipperier than that. But it happens because we get afraid, we get anxious, we get judgmental, our egos take over in funky ways, and that fear causes this rift. And our kids don't know what else to do but respond in kind. And so they do. And it happens all the time. So what I'm going to talk to you about tonight is how to circumvent that process and become more available. If we're more available to our kids, eventually, and maybe not in really broad, dramatic ways, but in some ways, our kids will become more available to us. Okay?